There's a new catchphrase gaining traction at the State House: fund students, not systems. Guess where that traction comes from, by the way? Well, the idea behind it is to empower parents to make decisions for their children's education. Critics, though, are asking people to look closer at this new legislation based on that phrase, fund students, not systems. One example is the legislation we touched on last Friday, House Bill 669, the Hope and Opportunity Scholarships Program. It aims to create a voucher system of sorts for Idaho parents, giving them state money to better their students' education. Critics say the idea may sound good, but it comes with a list of legal and practical questions. Here's Joe Paris.
This act would allow dollars to follow students so parents could access education services environments that work best for their children.
Republican Representatives Dorothy Moon and Gayanne DeMordaunt are sponsoring the Hope and Opportunity Scholarship legislation designed to give public education funds to individual families for them to spend on their child's education. The legislation would take about $130,000 in public dollars to allow families to buy things like online learning programs, tutoring, textbooks, individual classes, and extracurricular services. There are qualifications to get that money, and eligible students could get about $6,000 each. But critics say there's a major red flag with this. The public funds could be used to pay for private school tuition.
It's unconstitutional.
Rod Grammer is president and CEO of Idaho Business for Education, an education advocacy group. Grammer says voucher programs like the Hope and Opportunity Scholarship legislation are simply against the state constitution.
The Idaho Constitution says that in Article 9, Section 1, has given the legislature the mandate to fund free, uniform public schools and thorough public schools. It's not a wish. It's not a maybe. It's a mandate that the legislature supports public schools.
Grammer adds that the Constitution goes even deeper into the topic if you read further.
In two other parts of the Constitution, the founders of our state said the state shall spend no money supporting private schools or religious schools. And so if a voucher bill passes that provides tuition for a private school, it automatically nullifies the Idaho Constitution.
Grammer says similar legislation in other states that create vouchers or education saving accounts are supported by national organizations with a common goal: moving away from the public school system. In Idaho, that charge is led in part by the Idaho Freedom Foundation.
At least, the Freedom Foundation is very open that they want to abolish public schools. And to their credit, they're very open about that. But these other organizations and many legislators are not so open about wanting to undermine the Constitution in our public schools.
Grammer says a major concern for supporters of public education is that the campaign will hamstring an already underfunded public education system.
It seems to me that, they've got all these catchwords like, parent choice or failing public schools, that they're trying to make the public believe that this is a very innocent effort. But at the heart of it is this: they're going to, at best, undermine the public schools. And at the worst, they're going to defund the public schools.
And the legislation we're talking about here in this story is still in the Idaho House. We're going to continue to follow it as it makes its progress through the State House. I did reach out to the representatives sponsoring the bill, Representative Moon and Representative DeMordaunt. Neither responded to my email asking if they would talk about the situation with us. Brian, I wanted to ask them about the concerns that people like Mr. Grammer have about this being against the Constitution. School vouchers are not a new concept, but Brian, across the nation, we've really seen a renewed effort to bring them back.
As always, those invitations, always open. Look forward to hearing from them. Thanks, Joe.